what makes you get up every morning, like in a good mood? What makes you happy when you get up?
Coffee?
My name is Tiana Robbins, and I will be doing an interview with Rachel, and we'll be talking about the success that she has achieved with her disability and what she likes to do with her service animal and what has helped with her service animal.
Hi.
So, and also the whole point of this video, I want people to understand with their disability that you can achieve anything, and that even though you have a disability, it doesn't make you different. Like, for example, like superheroes. So I think that even with disability, you know, you could do anything, you can achieve your goals, and you'll always have a best friend, which is your service animal. So that's what I want to make people understand, that, you know, you're not alone. The first question is, what are your disability that you have?
Hello, my name is Rachel Fisher-Covert. I am 42. I am a master's degree student at Arizona State University in the School of Community Resources and Development. I recently graduated outstanding graduate student for the School of Community Resources and Development with my undergraduate degree in Parks and Recreation with a concentration in therapeutic recreation in May of 2020. I decided that I wanted to continue my master's degree to create programs where I saw a need with recreational therapy for students in high school with disabilities. I'm very passionate about advocating for those with disabilities. I am a disability advocate. I've been an artist for almost 30 years. This is my absolutely best bud here, Austin. He is a guide dog from Guide Dogs to the Desert in California. And this month is our 6th year as a guide dog team together. The last week of March will be our 6-year anniversary. And then he'll turn 9 in May. So we've been a team for quite some time. Much like many other people, I have a main disability, but then I also have other disabling conditions. So my main disability is I have a form of Stargardt's macular degeneration, where I've lost all of my central vision in both of my eyes, but continued to lose vision, and my vision has continued to degenerate and deteriorate since then. My left eye has progressed severely to where it's not very usable vision, and I have a little bit of remaining vision in my right eye. In the guide dog community, we say that I have just enough vision to get in trouble, which is why I have Austin here. I also have attention deficit and some learning disabilities, as well as some chronic health issues. So I understand what it's like to kind of need to juggle all of those disabilities. When did I start learning to accept my disability? And well, with Stargardt's in high school, it was still very stigmatized for me to be disabled. And when I was told that I was going to be losing my vision when I was a sophomore in high school, it was, nobody really understood the ADA. It was something that actually kept me from being able to do much, so I wouldn't talk about it. So I refused to use my cane in high school, and my friends would help me. And I continued doing that for a little bit after high school as well. I was told that the only job that I would get when I graduated was a telemarketer job or a job in customer service. So I was told that that was the only careers that, me being from a low income area and having a visual disability, those are the only careers I would be able to do. And for a while I believed it. And I worked in customer service and I worked as a telemarketer, and I absolutely hated it. Absolutely hated it. It was as I began to really explore doing my artwork, and I met other people at the first show that I ever did with other visually impaired and blind artists. did I really start to embrace my disability and see that my disability was a way for me to talk to people. It was a way for me to be able to talk about whatever bias they might have and whatever questions they have and answer them. And my art became the best way to start that topic, to be able to broach that topic. As I was beginning to paint, I started by painting just what I thought I saw. And that really helped me to accept what my disability was. I haven't used it as a limitation. I don't use it as an excuse. I don't use it as a way to get free things. It's just kind of who I am. And most people around me tend to forget that I even have a disability because it's not, for me, it's not a focus. You know, I am Rachel. I happen to be visually impaired, but I try to use my visual impairment to do positive things with it.
When did you realize you found the right service animal? Like, how did you guys connect? Like, how did you know he was the one?
Well, it took me many years. I was a very confident white cane user for 22 years before I made the decision to apply for a service dog. It was after going in and being re-diagnosed by different retinal specialists here in Arizona and learning that my vision was continuing to deteriorate and I had lost my night vision and I wasn't very independent anymore. The School Foundation for the Blind Children was my adult vocational rehabilitation program that I went into because I knew that with me losing vision that I needed to go back to school or find new work. And when I was there, one of my mentors, Cynthia Woods, she was a guide dog user with a dog from Guide Dogs of the Desert. And she helped to facilitate different programs with us and encouraged me to look into the Guide Dogs of the Desert for a service animal. So I did a lot of research and a lot of introspection. I don't feel that anyone should take on applying for a service animal unless it was really time that they really need it. Because when you accept a service animal, you have to accept that you are disabled enough to need the animal. And that can be really emotionally hard on a lot of people. Making that decision was really hard, and I don't think it should be taken lightly. But then when it's time to make that decision, just for other people, just make sure it's an accredited agency. Make sure they breed healthy dogs for the program. Make sure you don't have to pay money for it. And let them match you with a dog or a service animal that will give you just an incredible amount of independence. And he did. He gave me so much independence and still does.
That's great. What are things you like to do with him?
Oh my goodness. Well, we can go anywhere. It was my first vacation with my daughter independently. And I didn't need anyone else to go with me. So being able to take a vacation to California with my service dog and my child, and I didn't need anybody else to help me. That was pretty incredible. Yeah, it was absolutely incredible. So, I mean, we love to swim. He loves swimming. We love hiking. We love playing. He absolutely loves playing with his toys and playing catch and tug. And he's just a super big cuddler. So he really likes to cuddle a lot.
What kind of superhero would you compare yourself to or relate to?
They always kind of expect me to pick a blind superhero. But honestly, I don't feel like not having vision is my issue. I think that I have great empathy and love and care for other people. And I love to help other people, just going out of my way to do whatever I can to kind of help people. And I'm a fighter. So my husband said that I'm Wonder Woman.
Oh, nice. I think we all are Wonder Woman. All females.
Absolutely.
How long did it take for you to deal with your disability? How, I'm assuming once you found out there's things a lot of changes that you probably had to do. How did that go? Was that pretty hard to do?
I think in the beginning it was hard, not because it was just hard on me to accept it, because it was, but I think where I lived, and since nobody really knew how to help me having a visual disability, that's what made it so hard. Is they just didn't have the resources or the knowledge and where to help me and what to do. I remember my first interaction with disability services back in Illinois. They got me a cane. They sent me to mobility training to learn how to use it. And I had a school itinerant teacher. And then they gave me a 4-sided cassette tape player for books, which they couldn't find most of my books. And then they gave me a lamp and some sunglasses, and that was it. And anybody who has any visual disability knows that that's not nearly enough to be successful. We really need resources and assistive technology and things to really help us, for us to be able to have the same access to things that other people do. It's all about access and inclusion, right? So that was really hard because it made me feel more disabled because I had less assistance and resources. As I got older, I just found ways to overcome those limitations myself. But I have learned that part of what really helps me to overcome just the difficulties, my vision is constantly deteriorating. So it happens pretty consistently. I could be going for 3 months, 6 months, a year, and then I can notice that I can't really see something that I've noticed before. Like recently, I realized that I can't type on the keyboard at all. Even if I'm listening to it, I can't see the keyboard. So I have to only do voice to text. So it's, in order to overcome my disability and the difficulties that happen, I just have to learn new ways to still have the same access. Like, it's like learning how to text, right? It's difficult for me to text, but I want the same access that other people have. So for me, it's using maybe a combination of voiceover and voice to text. So it's just always finding new ways to help assist. So I have 2 monitors on my computer. I do voice to text. I use Fusion. I try to find lots of programs in the computer to convert things so that I can listen to text. And I just try to keep a really positive attitude. I think if you look at it negatively, if you look at disability as a negative, then you're always going to feel negative.
Yeah.
But if you look at it and you try to look for the positives, like, what is good from this? What have I learned from this? Or what can I do? Then you're going to be so much more successful and so much happier.
Exactly. I think you definitely need to keep a open mind and positivity, because I do agree that if you think negative about your disability, I feel like it's just going to keep you down and all that. But I think you just gotta gotta accept it, but also keep a positive mind and know that everything's gonna be okay. At least that's what I see it.
Exactly. And, we're told when we're younger that, you want to fit in or be normal, and people without a disability, those are ideal people, but they're not ideal. Honestly, I love the friends and the people that I know that have disabilities because they are so much more unique and genuine and just beautiful human beings. And I think that when you do have a difference or a disability, it allows you to really appreciate the world around you, appreciate people, appreciate what you have. So I find that I like being around people that have different disabilities because they're usually people that have just a much more positive and wonderful perspective on life.
Yeah, exactly. Who would you say is your most supportive? Like, who has been there with you through your struggles of disability? Who would you say is very supportive?
My child, Madison, is my absolute number one. Has been incredible through my entire experience. And it's hard on a child when your parent has a disability And it's something that continues to, degenerate. However, Madison has just been wonderful at being constantly supportive and loving and caring. And I couldn't imagine doing life without Maddie. And my husband's pretty fantastic.
With your disability, with college, how has that got you through college?
Oh, college is very hard.
Understand.
I think if it wasn't for the independence and the confidence that I gained by having Austin, I think that I wouldn't have really wanted to venture back to college. And I think, like many other people, I had very bad previous experiences with education and trying to go to college before. And it wasn't with other students, it was with other, professors or instructors that were just very bullying. And I didn't think that I wanted to go back to school. And I was really worried about what it was going to be like because of the negative experiences that I'd had. So between partnering with vocational rehabilitation and the Foundation for Blind Children and the instructors that I've met, college became such an amazing experience. I did Rio Salado first and had an absolutely amazing disability resource services representative that just was incredible and helped me through so much. And then I transferred to ASU in 2018 and was very nervous about being an older student, about being a disabled student, and what that was going to look like. And I had Dr. Kelly Ramilla, my professor, talk to me in my first semester and said that it's okay that I have a disability. And what she wanted to do was to make sure that I learned how to be the best recreational therapist that happens to have a disability, and to learn to make my visual impairment work for me. Having a professor be so encouraging and supporting from the first time you really meet them in person, it just gives you so much confidence and hope. And I had such an incredible experience in my undergraduate career. There were so many things I got to do, programs that I got to implement, and I became an ASU homecoming queen my last year at ASU, which I thought was unbelievable and didn't expect it, because I kept telling myself they're not going to vote for somebody who's visually impaired, but they did. And it was such an amazing experience to be able to sit on a float, or not the float, but on a carriage, and wave with my crown to so many students that had disabilities watching the ASU parade with my cane, proudly with my cane. That to me was such a big deal, because it wasn't about winning. It was about, wow, I got to show other people at this college, at a university, that you can have a disability and still be seen.
I totally understand, because I was actually in college myself, and I have my own disability, and I agree, it is hard.
It really is. And I wish that we could get our books sooner and things like that. But that's the thing I keep telling myself is I'm not going to have them when I graduate and I'm in my career. So I have to find other ways to do it myself. And that's what makes us independent, because we know how to be independent. We know that sometimes we just got to figure out how to get it done ourselves, right?
Exactly.
Then you have to practice advocacy skills, and you have to talk to your instructors, and you have to talk to your professors, and you have to advocate about what's happening. And it gives you an opportunity to practice self-advocacy.
What would you say to other people with disability that were struggling with accepting their disability? What would a piece of advice would you tell them?
The first thing I would say is you're not alone. Learning about your disability and struggling with it, allow yourself to grieve, and allow yourself to grieve whatever it was that you had expected or dreamed about for yourself. Allow yourself to grieve that. But then once you're done grieving, then start to look at who you are and your disability and ask yourself, what is it that you're passionate about and what is it that you want to do? And then figure out how to do it. Because the only obstacles we honestly have are those that we put upon ourselves, right? We can allow our disabilities to control us or to run our lives, or we can control our lives and we can just figure out how to use our disability in a way that can help be a positive impact on others. So, but allow yourself to grieve and find other people to talk to. Find groups of other individuals with either the similar disability or other disabilities. Don't allow it to keep you home. Don't isolate. Be social and be around other people. And just know that your disability is part of what makes you beautiful and wonderful and amazing. And you just see things differently and you interact with the world differently. And that deserves to be shared. And you're definitely worthy of pursuing whatever it is you're passionate about in achieving it.
How does your service animal handle like with other animals that come by?
They're taught the leave it command. So when another animal passes us, if I know and I can hear the leash and I know there's another animal or somebody tells me, I let them know to leave it. And he just ignores the other animals. The only time that he doesn't is there are some occasions where people have animals that they say are emotional support animals in a store, and they like to put the dogs down on the floor and tell them to go say hi to my service animal. And I have to then use it as a moment to educate and say that he is a working seeing eye dog and he cannot interact with other animals because he's working as my eyes right now. But in the home, he loves to cuddle near my cat. I have a dachshund, a wiener dog named Riley, who's 12, and the two of them like to cuddle together, and Riley will lay on top of Austin. We have a bearded dragon, and Austin just lets him run around and doesn't mind at all. And yeah, he's extremely sweet and calm, and he really understands how to interact with the other animals. But yeah, the only issues that I have are when people try to get their animals to say hi.
Oh. How old was he when you first got him?
He was pretty close to being 3. So the way guide dogs work is they're raised by a puppy raiser from about 8 weeks old to about 18 months. And during that time, they're doing all of their health checks for any chronic conditions, any disease, good vision, good hearing. And then the puppy raisers just train them how to be good puppies. You know, they do a lot of canine obedience and teach them to get used to having, instead of, he's wearing his harness, but the puppies wear like a little jacket, and they get him used to the jacket and they socialize them and they bring them out into lots of different areas. So for me, my puppy raisers knew that I was in college and that I was doing a lot with sports at one time, and would take Austin out to, be around different sporting events and people in crowds. And if they pass all of those checks, then at 18 months, they go to what we call college and learn how to actually be a seeing eye dog. And from about 18 months to, almost a full year, Austin trained on how to be a seeing eye dog for me. So he had special training, and he'd go with different people that would get him used to crowds and things. And he learned how to be my seeing eye dog. And then at the end of that training, you go in for about 4 weeks. So I went to Whitewater, to the guide dogs of the desert dorms, and I stayed for 4 weeks. And I trained with him that whole time, doing everything from night training, blindfold training, just walking around obstacles. Our dogs learn how wide we are, how tall we are, to help navigate clearances and obstacles. They learn signals. They help us to properly cross the street. We also do traffic training. So the dogs have to be able to be calm and get through traffic training where we're navigating and somebody from the school is driving in a car, and the car is going to come close, and the dog has to practice helping, practice us not being hit by a car. And the first time I did that, I cried because I had been hit by a car crossing the street with my sighted cane, with my white cane. Oh. And the first car kind of pulled up close, and Austin just kind of came over in front of me and pushed me back. And just knowing that, like, that whole experience, like, it still gives me goosebumps. It made me cry because it was incredible. And since then, he's done that. He's helped me to not be hit by cars by either refusing to cross the street, which is something that they're taught to do if it's dangerous, or cutting in front of me and making sure that I can't walk. Just absolutely incredible. And they don't eat food off the floor. They don't interact with other dogs. They just kind of focus on their job. And Austin absolutely loves what he does.
Austin. Oh.
He's comfortable.
Well, thank you for talking with me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, and good luck on everything you do. I can't wait to see just how successful you become.
Thank you.